we come from a very homosexual era of hip hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career, and it's all coming full circle now. So
one thing the Wendy Williams show is sorely missing right now is Wendy Williams' take on everything happening with Diddy. You can just picture her in her iconic chair saying, "Clap if you're surprised, but didn't she try to warn us about people like Diddy and Jay-Z?"
Quite honestly, I think that this is the kind of couple that will stay together because it's good for business and because they don't want to disappoint us. They reportedly are trying to figure out a way to split without divorcing. In other words, a hood divorce.
Beyonce's true age, check. Yeah.
Well, what is her true age?
Wendy might be owed a huge apology because she faced a lot of backlash for speaking out on these topics, and now everything she said seems to be coming to light.
What's the tea? Well, spill it.
Let's break it down. Back in 2009, when Charlamagne Tha God was Wendy's co-host, she invited former Bad Boy rapper Mark Curry onto her show to discuss his book, Dancing with the Devil: How Puff Burned the Bad Boys of Hip-Hop. In the interview, Mark described Diddy as a man with a dark shadow following him, implying that bad things would happen to anyone who got too close. Throughout the conversation, it was clear that Wendy agreed with everything Mark said. Wendy also had a lot to say about the relationship between Diddy and Cassie. She frequently pointed out that there was a serious imbalance of power, always in Diddy's favor, never in Cassie's.
You know, my thing about when you date a mogul is that it's really difficult to avoid them, because if you use your head, you never know when they're gonna pop up on the scene. Like, he's mogul, like he can hire a plane right now, zoom it to South Africa, land on the roof of the hotel where she's staying, okay? Pay people off at the front desk, give me the key and let me up in her room. Like, I'm already paranoid as a person. But to know that somebody could actually swoop down on me in the middle of nothing would scare the bejesus out of me.
Now, doesn't that align perfectly with what Cassie later revealed in her lawsuit against Diddy? In the lawsuit, she detailed how Diddy had uncontrollable anger, subjected her to horrific abuse, and forced her into degrading situations, including having her hook up with male escorts while he filmed it. She also recounted losing her memory due to the physical abuse and even wanting to end her life because of how badly she was treated. Cassie's lawsuit described how Diddy pulled her into his extravagant, fast-paced, and substance-fueled lifestyle shortly after she signed to his label at 19, while he was nearing 40. The power dynamic Wendy had been warning about was there from the start. It's also worth remembering that Diddy tried to retaliate against Wendy, even getting her blacklisted for exposing rumors about his personal life. In her 2004 book, The Wendy Williams Experience, Wendy admitted she held contempt for Diddy because he attempted to ruin her career. She also claimed on her radio show in 2005 that she was nearly attacked by the girl group Total, who were signed to Bad Boy Records, because of what she was exposing about Diddy.
I'm wrapping in my headphones and I'm going downstairs. My new boyfriend at the time, the bad Kevin, he was picking me up. But no, this is when he was the good Kevin, right? So I'm walking in the elevator with my intern at the time, Skeletor, but look, I'm like, why is everybody looking down at the sidewalk? I mean, noses were pressed to the glass. And I get downstairs and find this girl group jump out of a gypsy cab to come after me, to kick me. And I'm like, for what? You know what I said was true. You all are broke and you were living in the projects. And that was that. But the point I'm making is, you know, Amanda, you shouldn't have I didn't get back on the radio and talk about it. What I did was desire to do better so I can have a purple chair and talk about it right now and then have the whole scene play out in the Lifetime movie.
It's clear that her Hot Topics segment would have been on fire these past few weeks. As she predicted, Diddy was guilty of more than a few things. He was arrested in Manhattan, just 6 months after federal authorities raided his homes in Los Angeles, and Miami court papers revealed that more than 50 people and witnesses had already been interviewed, with more expected to come forward. The grand jury indictment reported that federal agents found not only 3 AR-15 rifles, but also 1,000 bottles of baby oil at Diddy's residences, items allegedly tied to his infamous wild parties. You can only imagine how much Wendy would have had to say about those 1,000 bottles of baby oil. The indictment outlines how these supplies were used during lavish gatherings, which included controlled substances, extra linens, and specialized lighting. It further details how Diddy allegedly manipulated and coerced women and others around him to satisfy his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his actions. He is accused of using his staff, money, and influence to build both his business empire and a criminal enterprise, engaging in crimes such as forced labor, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The indictment also highlights numerous incidents dating back to around 2009 where Diddy is said to have mistreated women, dragging them, throwing objects at them, and more. In addition, it claims that he lured women into relationships and forced them to participate in freak-offs through physical force and other means. These freak-offs are described as highly orchestrated, intimate events that Diddy allegedly directed, often recording them electronically. His staff reportedly booked hotel rooms in advance, stocking them with items like baby oil, lubricants, sheets, and specialized lighting. These gatherings allegedly lasted for days, and Diddy, along with others involved, often received IV fluids to recover from their substance use. Didn't Wendy Williams blow the whistle on these questionable parties? She always had something to say about the wild things happening there. Wendy also spoke about the infamous 1999 incident involving Jennifer Lopez, calling out Diddy for his poor handling of the situation. She even suggested that there was something suspicious about the way Shine was set up to take the fall for it.
When Foxy and Jay-Z had,
I'll Be. Yeah,
I'll Be?
That was a good one.
Okay, Foxy was the star of that. Jay-Z was standing in the corner, wringing his hands, talking about, okay, all right, what do I do next? And then, you know, this was allegedly a romantical thing. It's all right, I'll say alleged, but we know. Yeah, she hit it before Beyonce. Allegedly.
And who can forget Wendy's interview with Karine Superhead Steffens after she released her tell-all book? Karine was one of the first people to expose Diddy, recounting how Irv Gotti introduced her to him at a party. She described in her book how Diddy asked about her and that they eventually hooked up, but Diddy also wanted another man involved. Karine later mentioned that she attended another party with rappers a bit, where they noticed some questionable behavior, including gay activities, according to her. Diddy, who was drinking heavily, seemed paranoid that she would expose what had gone on. During that interview with Wendy, you could bet she was asking all the right questions. Can't you just hear her saying, "Clap if you think Diddy's guilty"? Wendy also wasn't shy about her opinions on Jay-Z. She openly discussed rumors that he had been involved with younger women, such as Foxy Brown, throughout the 90s. Foxy and Jay-Z collaborated frequently, and he even wrote several songs for her debut album. Some of the lyrics Foxy sang were incredibly inappropriate for a 15-year-old. For example, in the song Ain't No End, Foxy sang, "Ain't no man like the one I got, no one can F you better sleeps around, but he gives me a lot." Jay-Z, who was 27 at the time, wrote the lyrics, and Wendy was quick to call out this problematic relationship.
Oh, Jay-Z. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all of those records together. They both, Leah, they shared so much in common.
There were also rumors that Jay-Z was funding Foxy's shopping sprees and covering her salon visits while she was still in high school. In fact, people who attended school with her claimed that Jay-Z used to pick her up from school regularly. Wendy, as usual, wasn't afraid to speak up about these uncomfortable truths. Biggie Smalls used to pick her up too, but they were just friends. However, everyone knew she and Jay were involved. There's also a wild rumor about a tape that allegedly shows Jay-Z and Foxy in an intimate situation with Jamie Foxx. Supposedly, after this encounter, Jay-Z had Foxy sign multiple gag orders. Coincidentally, not long after the incident, the tape was reportedly stolen from her home. In addition to the threesome allegation, rumors suggest that Jay-Z may have even given Foxy an STD, allegedly. Wendy Williams was aware of all this. She knew. And it wasn't just Foxy Brown. There have been whispers on the streets that some of the accusations being made against Diddy also involve Jay-Z. Jaguar Wright, who's been making headlines with her own whistleblowing claims, has hinted at this too. And while people might call her crazy, there's definitely more to the story when it comes to Jay-Z. Remember when Nas hinted that Jay-Z knew about R. Kelly's misconduct with young women, especially Aaliyah? During an interview with Wendy Williams after the R. Kelly tape leaked, Nas suggested that Jay-Z was fully aware of what was going on. He said, "You can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl sitting on R. Kelly's lap in the studio." With authorities now targeting Diddy for allegedly trafficking young women across borders, perhaps they should also be investigating Jay-Z. The way his name keeps getting mentioned alongside Diddy and R. Kelly is suspicious. Even when it comes to his relationship with Beyonce, there are some things that don't quite add up. Jay-Z and Beyonce have always portrayed their relationship as starting when she was 19, but people from back in the day say they were involved when she was much younger. Somehow, Jay-Z managed to keep her close, and eventually, they got married. But have you ever heard about how he's allegedly been controlling her for years? Rumors suggest that he's been exerting a lot of control over Beyonce. What Wendy Williams was trying to tell us all along is that these people, Diddy, Jay-Z, R. Kelly, are all the same. And just like Wendy predicted, everything is coming full circle. R. Kelly and Diddy are already facing the consequences of their actions, and it seems like only a matter of time before Jay-Z's skeletons come out too. So, what do you think? Does Wendy deserve an apology for all the backlash she received for being a whistleblower? And how do you think she would have reacted to Diddy's arrest? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below.